All right, this next one is from Anonymous. Anonymous says, "Hey guys, I'm sure your listeners will pick on me for being a quote-unquote prude or whatever, but here goes. I recently found out my husband pays for 3 different OnlyFans subscriptions, and it's really bothering me. I already don't like porn, but there's something about OnlyFans that to me feels more personal somehow. Like he has singled out these 3 women and he's paying money to watch them specifically when there's tons of free porn out there. Would it be wrong of me to ask him to stop? Should I be worried? Can you help me know what to say? Thank you, love the show, and can't wait to see your dumb faces, LOL, on video." Well, thank you. We can't wait to show you our dumb faces on video. It's coming soon, all right? Much like us.
Yeah, girl. Wait, what?
I don't know. Liam, this one's for you. So what do you think? Should this person be worried about her husband? Yep, I had to make sure it was the husband. Husband is paying for 3 different OnlyFans subscriptions?
I mean, no, I guess. Are you uncomfortable with porn in general, or are you uncomfortable with someone paying for porn? You know what I mean? I think that to me is the bigger question, because if it's just I don't like porn at all, then I mean it wouldn't really matter where it was that he was accessing it. You just would not be comfortable with him watching other people have sex. And I guess I do understand to some degree, like, oh, well, he's paying money, but it's specifically for these 3 individuals that he's watching do whatever it is that they're doing. But yeah, I guess I don't really see as much of a problem with it, because there's not like while it does feel more personable, it's not like he's going to go and meet these people. Like I know that, some of these individuals go and do like conventions or meet and greets or whatever, but like they don't do meet and greets and then bring people's husbands back to like the room to fuck them. You know what I mean? Like they're still, they still have their own relationships or their own lifestyle that they're leading. And you got to figure probably, like, especially the more popular OnlyFans individuals probably have hundreds of thousands of people that subscribe. So like your husband is a drop in the pond. I would not be so caught up about that he's paying for these 3 individuals. If it was like, I'd be more nervous if it was like 1, right? Doesn't that seem worse if it was like only 1 girl that he's paying money to do this, then like he has a very specific interest and it is very specifically that one person. So yeah, I mean, I would be less worried about it. I mean, was it something that like they just found out about this, right? Like it wasn't like he disclosed, hey, I'm paying this money. So I would see that being more of a problem, that like he didn't talk to you about it, as opposed to the fact that he's doing it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's tough. I'm not really one to be worried one way or the other when it comes to that type of thing. I mean, I trying to put myself in your shoes. Like if I found out Brittany was subscribing to like a guy's OnlyFans, I wouldn't be, I'd be a little bit bothered. I'd be like, oh, like, is it just because I'm 42 and out of shape now? Like, you're not as into potatoes as you were? Like, what's wrong? I'd probably be a little bit more asking about that. But I think my bigger concern would just be like, hey, why wasn't that something that we talked about before you were paying money for it? As opposed to like, hey, if it's getting her in the mood, it's not like she's driving to this guy and fucking him. If it gets her in the mood and then she fucks me, like, hey, cool. Like, kudos to me. And hey, thanks, man, for preheating the oven, I guess.
Yeah, it is a really tough one. I see. Like, first off, I don't think our listeners will pick on you. Our listeners are pretty kind and open-minded people in general. So I don't think that would happen. And I don't think it makes you a prude. You're just asking a question about, something that's bothering you. I think that's kind of the whole soul of this show, I think. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But you said you already don't like porn. I guess I wonder, how deep does that go? Like, do you, like Liam was saying, do you have an issue with him watching porn? And is that something you had agreed on together? Because I know there are couples that do that. I've known people in my own life that have said, we are not allowed to watch porn. Like, for them, that's cheating. And that's fine. I think, to me, that's over the top, but that's my life and it's your life. And I think, You should design your relationship in a way that makes sense to you. And if you both agree that porn is cheating, then that's the commitment that you make to each other, right? That's the contract you have. So that's one issue. Like if he's committed to not watching porn, then he's crossed that boundary. He's broken that promise to you. And that's a bigger issue than watching porn or subscribing to OnlyFans. I think Liam nailed it when he talked about the money thing, not because there's a money thing, but because unless you have this agreement that it's like, yeah, you have whatever, spend whatever money you want on whatever you want, then fine. I guess you could spend money on whatever. But like if you're handling finances together and he's got this, you said subscription, right? Yeah, subscription. He's got this subscription. That's money that is going out that you never talked about. I think that's another thing, communication thing. But I do think that like the watching OnlyFans models or, sex workers or whatever, watching specific ones, I don't think is a big deal because I think a lot of people have their preferences. Like I know I had one female friend who she had one dude that she just really she never did it, but she really wanted to subscribe. I almost got her an OnlyFans like subscription thing as like a Christmas gift, kind of as a joke. But I never looked into it, so I don't know if you can do that. But anyway, she just really wanted to see this dude's dick. Like just it wasn't even like a horniness thing. It was like, I just want to know what his dick looks like. And ever since I found out he had an OnlyFans, I wanted to see his dick, that kind of thing. So people just have things like that. We're curious people. I remember one of our mutual friends, but I've been friends with this guy for, since I was in high school. He once said to me, he was like, every guy wants to see every woman naked. And I think it was in a movie too, but he said it one time and I was like, I disagree with that. But he was like, no, I have asked numerous people and like 8 out of 10 guys that I've talked to have said they want to see every woman naked. They're all straight guys. But they all want to see every woman naked. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting to me. I've never felt that way, but so there's that curiosity element that could be there where he's like, oh, he sees these women. He's like, oh, there's something about them that I want to see, or I'm attracted to them, or yeah, they just get him off. That could be too. That could be it too. So I wouldn't worry too much that it's like, oh, this is him stepping out. This is him like, you need to be worried because he finds these other women attractive. I think the vast majority of people, do find people outside of their relationship attractive. Liam and I are fucking freaks because when we're in relationships, we're like, no, there is only one attractive woman. And it's not like a put on thing. It just is how we are. So I think that's how most people are. So again, I wouldn't worry about the OnlyFans thing. I've never subscribed to anything on OnlyFans, believe it or not. So I don't know like the ins and outs, but yeah, from what I understand, there's no communication. It's not like he can reach out to these people. It's not like they're arranging to meet up. It's not Tinder. It is just a different manner of porn from what I understand. So all that to say, Liam nailed it. But again. Yeah, Liam nailed it. I think I would worry about any boundaries that were crossed that were pre-agreed to. And if they weren't pre-agreed to, if this was just something he was like, well, I just didn't know you'd have a problem with this, then it's a conversation to have and say, hey, I'm cool with you watching porn, but I'm not cool with OnlyFans. Or I want to understand what it is about this that you're into, or whatever the conversation is. But I think a conversation is in order, and I think that can help a lot of this stuff. And I think you'll probably most likely find out that it was just like, either they were in a certain category that he's into that maybe you aren't, or there are fetishes at play or whatever, or he just finds them particularly attractive and it was worth it for him to pay for it. So yeah, I don't think you have much to worry about, but I think if you don't talk about it, you'll have a lot to worry about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It still kind of catches me up when people are like, oh, well, I don't like porn, so you can't watch porn.
Yeah.
Right? Like that to me just feels kind of toxic to just put it mildly.
I don't like superhero movies, so you can't watch them.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, what I do, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, like what I do for myself on my own time, like how does that affect you? Like that would be so weird.
Right.
But again, like that's me. I'm sure for other people, they they have their reasons for it. I mean, I know, like, growing up Catholic, I know the religious influence that plays a part for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know. For me, like, that's just kind of a weird hill to die on. But I mean, at least you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this doesn't drive you to death, but like, yeah, have the conversation. And you know what? You give me one more thing to add. I would say have the conversation within your own self first and figure out where you're at. Because I do think if you're going to talk to him about this, you're going to need to decide what level of thing you're comfortable with. Because if you are not comfortable with him watching porn at all, you need to be ready for pushback on that, because if it's not something that you've agreed to before, but you're now realizing you're not comfortable with, he has every right to say, well, I never agreed to that. You know, I'm not saying I'm not saying he should be like, I never agreed to that, and if you don't like it, fuck off, because that would also be fucked up. But I think be prepared to figure out where your comfort lies and what you're okay with and what you're not, and do that inner work, and then bring it to him and say, hey, I need to ask you about this, and have that conversation.